Hey everyone, welcome back to KC3D Sparks. Today we are going to be creating a wash tub. So for the end, you'll notice over here I kind of have some stalls set up. So obviously there's not too much to it. There's not even doors yet, but basically this is supposed to be kind of like a public bathroom type area. And I thought it'd be cool to have a wash bin or wash tub set up. So what I'm going to do to create that is hop over to a blank layer and make sure that your cursor is in the center. So do Shift C and it'll pop right in the center for you if it wasn't already. And then we're going to do Shift A and we're going to do cube. I'm going to pop into front view and we can size it along the X about there. And then we'll size it along the Y to get our rectangular plank shape. Perfect. Obviously, I'm not following with the whole dimensions. If you haven't set it up, make sure that you have your scene set to whatever unit you want to work in. I'll be working in inches and the scale of my grid floor is changed to 1/4 inch. But right now, it's not too important to follow the exact dimensions of this. This is just a guesstimate, and once everything is built out, I will resize it in the actual tavern. I am going to rename this. All right, so once we have our plank of wood, we can go ahead and tab into edit mode. And I'm gonna grab these two edges to try and give it some more shape. So let's do Control B to bevel. You'll notice it kind of looks more like a picket fence. So what we'll wanna do is add in a few loops, maybe like that. I think that looks good. And then to add in some variety in the top, we'll do Control R, maybe 3 there again. And then we can do Control R, add one here. Add them there, so that way we can bring this down. Add another one here. Bring that down. And you want to make sure it's dramatic enough for your printer to show it too. So we'll grab that, pull that over, and pull this over. Like that. Obviously, do what you want with that. Have a little bit of fun with your variations. And I'm also going to select this whole front edge, but deselect the bottom one. And I'm also going to select this whole part, but deselect these ones. And we're going to do Control B and add in another bevel. Now, it's not doing too much. Usually it does a little bit more. Maybe I have too much selected. But what we can do is just do that and then grab these connected SY and pull it in. Obviously, have some fun with your bevels. I'm just going to pull that out a little bit. Maybe more like that would be better. There we go. That's looking better. And then I'll go just grab this. That works. So have some fun with that. I mean, mine's not perfect at all, but it's just an example. Let's rename that. So what we want to do to get our circular tub going is do an array modifier. So let's go over to the modifiers tab and select array. So you'll notice it pops one up instantly. I'll go over it a little bit just in case you haven't seen my other array modifier tutorials. Basically, with the array, it duplicates it and it goes off of a relative offset. So you can change any of these so that way it goes in any direction, but it's always going to be a straight line. That's not what we want. We want it to go in a circle. To get it to go into a circle, we're going to uncheck this, do Shift A, and we're going to add in an empty. Let's move our plank out. I'm going to move it to about this first grid line here, about there. and I'm going to change the origin back to, oops, not that, the 3D cursor. So that's why we wanted that in the center. That's why we fixed it right when we started the tutorial. All right, so I'm gonna up this to about 16, and then I'm going to do object offset and select empty. Okay, now it looks like nothing happened, I know, but what you want to do is Control A, rotation and scale to make sure it applied, and when you hit R, it will go ahead and rotate all of your planks. So you'll notice that you kind of have to get it perfect in order for them to attach properly, but there's an easier way. What you can do is whatever direction you're rotating in, go to that one. So I'm rotating on Z axis. So I'm going to click on that, type in 360 degrees divided by our count. So we have 16. Perfect. So now they're a little bit too big. Easy fix, because we haven't applied our array modifier yet. This is still the only one we're going to be editing. So what we can do is size it down. Oh, but I'm going to disable that. So size it down so we have a gap in between our planks, so it looks like they were actually attached together, but enough where these are still connected. And honestly, I could probably size it down a little bit more because I want it to be kind of halfway in there. Now, one thing I want to do is, now that I see where our halfway point is, I'm going to add a loop right there. So now that we have our loop that goes all the way around, we can just tab back out of edit mode. Now, what I was trying to get to work earlier was you're supposed to be able to use this merge first and last, and it's supposed to actually merge everything together, just like when we use the Boolean modifier, they'll attach. But for some reason, I can't get this to work. If you guys know what I'm missing for this part, please let me know. I would love to be able to use this feature, but for now, I will show you guys a workaround, so that way if you're having the same issue I've been having, you'll still be able to use the array modifier and not be pulling your hair out, hopefully. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, like I normally do, I'm going to duplicate it in case if I want to change anything in the future. So I'm just going to hide my first one and have my second one selected. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply the array modifier to my new one. Now, I can go ahead and hide the empty because we won't be needing that anymore. And we're going to tab into edit mode. So you'll notice, like I mentioned, that if you go to one of these corners and you go into wireframe view with Z, you'll notice there's all this extra stuff in the center because these aren't actually connected. They're just individual meshes. So if I collect this and hit L, everything is technically linked, but not properly. So you have to go through each plank of wood and merge it. And what I mean by that is, I'll show you guys on the bottom. We'll grab this vertex and this vertex and do Alt-M at center all the way around. So it's not that big a deal. It still works. It's just a little bit time consuming and tedious. I'm going to go ahead and do that really quickly. I'm not going to make you watch me do that. I'm just going to jump ahead and I'll show you how to keep working on the wash bin. So now that we have that all done, don't forget that once you merge everything, to delete those faces, and then you can actually go through, and these vertices right here are just floating now, so you can actually go through and delete them. So I'm gonna do that really quick, but not delete them. You'll actually want to do X and dissolve vertices so they just disappear. Oh, I missed one. Okay. Now that that's all done, what we want to do is angle this in. So I'm just gonna go into the side view, make sure everything's deselected, and I have vertex select on. I'm going to grab all these bottom edges here, and I'm going to do connected, and then I'm just going to do size in. And why I have that on is so I can do this. So it actually angles everything. So kind of get how you want it. Now, obviously now it looks kind of like more like a bucket. it's too tall. It should be shorter. So let's do S and Z. And actually we can turn this off. And we need everything selected to be more like that. And also, if you want it, instead of circular, I kind of want mine more oval. So I'm going to do S and Y to smush it. More like that, and actually bring it out along the X to be oval instead. I think looks a little better. And actually, what we can do is grab this and the opposites. And then we'll want to turn this on, S and X, to draw it out more like that. Now, it is pretty distorted, but I kind of like it because then it adds a little bit more variation to the tops of these, and the planks of wood look a little bit different too. So I personally kind of like it. If you want yours more consistent, obviously you probably won't want to do that. I'm happy with the way it is. So next thing I want to do is add those bands. So you can do 1 or 2. I think I'm going to test out 2 that go all the way around. So what I'll do is Shift A, and we're going to do a torus. Now I'm going to bring my options up, and we can decrease this a lot. Whoop, not quite that far. Maybe about 12 to make it match the other one, because we're gonna go ahead and probably add a subdivision surface modifier instead. Yeah, that looks better. I'm gonna go into top view, S and Y. Do more like that. Disable this. Bring that a little flatter. We're going to want to draw this out, so I'll bring that back on. I want this to be in as far as it can be, but I don't want it poking through, so I'll have to do S and X a little bit. Cool. And what I can do is get rid of this edge loop, actually dissolve those edge loops to make it a little bit more square. And I can actually get rid of this one. I'm doing this kind of out of order, but you guys get the idea of what I'm going for. And this edge loop. Perfect. And then I can size along the Y again to draw that in. Make sure it's not poking through. Perfect. And I need to size along the X again. Perfect. Still a little thick and it's not in. It's perfectly up and down. So what we'll have to do is just grab these and we can size them in. And I'm probably going to go ahead and bring them up. Let's disable this. Okay, more like that. Bring that back out. Perfect. Just lots of little tweaking going on. And then what you can do is Shift D, bring that down if you want to, and just size that one in. Then you can go ahead, I'm going to Shift D this one, hide the first one, add modifier, Boolean, grab this torus, and you don't want intersect, you want union, and we can go ahead and apply. Tab into edit mode. Obviously I did mess up little bits and pieces here and there, but it's not too bad overall, and it works out. So basically there is our wash tub. Let me hide the torus so we get rid of that extra stuff. There we go. And that looks better. Okay, so what we can do now is move that to our first layer and size it. So let's take a look. Obviously it's a little large right now. Oh, except we forgot to add the bottom. Let's undo that move. We need to add the bottom. That would help a lot. Let's tab into edit mode. And what I wanted to do for the bottom was grab these rings, this whole bottom here. So let me just do this. E to extrude, I'm going to bring that down, and then it kind of looks like it has a nice flat base there as well. Now that'll add a nice ring in here. So I'm going to grab that loop as well. Oh, but I need to deselect everything else. So let me grab this loop and this loop, make sure nothing else is selected. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit E to extrude and size that in. And then what I can do is we're going to do X and faces, get rid of those faces. Grab this loop, E to extrude, Alt M at center. Grab this one, E to extrude, Alt M at center. Perfect, now we have our bottom. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and move that to the first layer now and move it into one of these stalls. I want it to be kind of like that. I don't want it poking through the floor though. Perfect. And there is our wash tub. So let me know what you guys thought of this. Let me know if there's any questions or concerns, or if you have an answer as to why my merge wasn't working. I noticed that when I was applying everything, the actual vertices, oh, you probably can't see it now, but I believe it was probably around right here. These ones right here were merged. So maybe it's just finicky and you have to have the edges lined up perfectly in order for it to work. I don't know, but I showed you guys a workaround and how I was able to work with it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Again, let me know if you have any questions or requests down below in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.